Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about wholes, which is what we're starting to read together or listen to together. I'm totally okay with that as well. First things first, if on Tuesday you did not read wholes, chapters 1 through 3, or you did not listen to wholes, chapters 1 through 3, then you are not ready to listen to me yet. So you need to pause me right now. Pause me. You need to go back to Tuesday's work and you need to read chapters 1 through 3. Okay. When you are done with that or listening to it, then you may answer the discussion question for today and finish this video. So again, pause right now. Okay, if you did finish it, then that's great. We're going to talk about a couple really, really cool things today and answer the discussion question. The discussion question is going to be part of your grade. So make sure, because that's how you're proving to me that you're either reading or listening to this. So go ahead and make sure that you're doing that. So I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. The first thing is that there are a couple of really cool things that you can see in our story. So I actually have my physical paper copy of the book that I'm using to read at home. If you need that, you can contact the school office and they actually have copies for you, which is awesome. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. So the first things first, okay, is that I have our nice piece of paper back here. If you can see it. And that's how I'm going to be marking our plot. Okay. So I'm going to let you get a little closer. Let's do some purple and some green. That feels right. Okay. So I'm going to put you on my chair and we're going to go ahead and mark our plot for this. Okay. So if I make my plot map, it looks like this. Ooh, she's real pink, isn't she? And the first thing that I need to mark down is my exposition, right? So I need to mark my characters, my setting, and my problem. So if I go to my story, I know already that the setting is at Camp Green Lake. So that's my setting. I know that I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger so you can see this. I know that my main character is Stanley, right now at least. And I know that my big problem, honestly, is that Stanley is going to Camp Green Lake. He basically is going to like a prison camp. Anyway, all right. So we're going to go ahead and keep talking about a couple of other things. Gracious people, welcome back. A couple of other things. So I know already, okay, that this week we've been talking about, oh, my brain's not working. Sorry, guys. Let me get my thing sorted. How are we feeling? I'm so close to you right now. Ooh. Author's craft. Okay. And there are a couple of really good examples of author's craft in here. Okay. One example is when the author uses dark humor. So dark humor is things like sarcasm or irony. So author's craft, okay, can be things like this. Okay, so when the author makes a serious topic into something funny, Stanley going to prison, that's like pretty serious topic. But our author is working to make it funny, right? He is making jokes like, oh, there's no lake at Camp Green Lake, or things like that. Okay. Our author is saying things using sarcasm when a person says one thing but means another thing. And then our author is using irony, which is when you expect one thing to happen, but instead the opposite thing happens. So one example is in our story. We go here. When it says, is this still working? Yeah, okay. Hello? When it says the author owns or the warden owns the shade, right? So the author is like almost trying to be funny here. And they're doing a pretty funny job. Like that is dark humor, right? Like when the book says this, it's like the warden can't own the shade, but they're saying like, listen, this is so serious that even the warden who's in charge owns the shade. Another example would be the town shriveled up and dried up with the lake. We know that that's figurative language. We know that that's not something that's actually happening, but that's that example of sort of dark humor of being like, oh yeah, the lake shriveled up and then the town shriveled up. And those types of things help create the mood. And so that is part of the author's craft. Okay. There's a couple of other things that we see. There is some really good examples of visualization. So if we look, okay, I don't know what's happening. My computer's being kind of weird. We're seeing that the town, the temperature is around 95 degrees in the shade. That helps you feel it. 95 degrees is hot, and them giving you the temperature makes you just want to sweat. It looking like a dry, flat wasteland. Again, pretty clear example of helping you to visualize. If we go down here, okay, when it says that he's the only passenger on the bus and it's sweating and the hot, heavy air was stifling as the handcuffs, that's creating visualization for us. That's helping us as readers understand and feel what's happening. We're using our five senses, right? You can feel the sweat under your handcuffs. You can feel the heavy air. So keep that in mind. The author in this story is using a lot of examples of author's craft and a lot of examples of figurative language. Lots and lots and lots. So keep that in mind. Okay, there's one more example of figurative language of visualization that I wanted to bring up. My copy of the book is like a little bit different than the copy here. It's just different pages. So right here, he looked out the window at the vast emptiness. He watched the rise and fall of the telephone wire. How many of you, I'm sure you have, but sometimes when you're watching the telephone wire move and you're driving alongside it and it's kind of like swooping and swooping, that's a collective experience. Like tons of people have felt that. You've seen it with your own eyes before. So the author's kind of helping put you in Stanley's shoes and helping you visualize what he's seeing. Yeah, so just a couple of things, okay? We've talked about plot structure. We've talked about our exposition of our story. We've talked about some author's craft stuff like dark humor and irony. And then we've talked about visualization. So as you keep reading, keep all that stuff in mind. It's really, really helpful to you. If you're listening to the story, that's great. That's totally fine with me. Keep it up, okay? You roll, guys, or you rock. You rock, guys. I'm proud of you. All right. I'm going to pause it maybe. And bye.